ballpark. It's the second of a three-game interleague series between the first-place Texas Rangers and the New York Mets. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kenny Albert. Welcome to Fox Saturday Baseball. Texas Rangers won the American League pennant in 2010. This season, they've been atop their division for the last 40 days, a 2.5-game lead over the Seattle Mariners. As I welcome in my partner, Mark Grace. Mark, Rangers won the series opener last night 8-1 over the Mets, who have been led this season by NL MVP candidate Jose Reyes.
Yeah, Jose Reyes, in my opinion, the most exciting player in the National League. He's leading the league in hitting. He's also scored more runs than anybody in the National League. He's been pretty much a one-man gang for these New York Mets, trying to get some people healthy, but Jose Reyes has been magnificent.
Well, today, Reyes and the Mets must face seven-game winner Alexei Ogando. He will be opposed by the Mets' Jonathan Nice. Rangers look to make it 2 in a row over the Mets in interleague baseball. Here at Arlington, Mets and Rangers coming up next on Fox. Baseball on a 96-degree afternoon in Arlington, Texas. Mark, although it feels like 101.
Oh, yeah, what a difference that is. Yeah, it's anytime you come to Texas in the summertime, you have to expect the heat, and you have to expect high-scoring games in heat like this. Usually the ball tends to travel when it's nice and hot down here in Texas. The wind's blowing out again today, too.
Texas Rangers hit 3 home runs in last night's game as they defeated the Mets 8-1. The opening pitch today brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. There's first-year Mets manager Terry Collins. Mets still playing without David Wright. Ike Davis, record of 37-39. 2 games under the 500 mark. Mets in 4th place in the National League East. 5.5 games out of the wild card lead. And Ron Washington, who will lead the American League All-Stars in the All-Star game next month in Phoenix.
He was excited about that when we were talking to him before the game.
His Texas Rangers take the field. The Mets batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Mets without Jason Bay and Justin Turner due to injuries today. Jose Reyes leads off, followed by the designated hitter Willie Harris. Carlos Beltran will bat third. Daniel Murphy in the cleanup spot. Then center fielder Angel Pagan. First baseman Lucas Duda. Bottom of the order, the catcher Josh Tolley. Left fielder Jason Pridey. And second baseman Ruben Tejada. As the Mets get set to face the 27-year-old right-hander Alexi Ogando, who won his first 7 decisions for the Rangers this season, but has lost his last 2 starts.
Yeah, he has been terrific, except for his last 2 starts. The last one wasn't too bad. He only gave up 1 earned run, but just 5 innings. He wilted in the Atlanta Heat, and that can happen to a lot of young pitchers, especially a guy like this, a guy that's on the skinny side. There's not a whole lot of fat to burn in the heat.
As Ron Washington told us, the humidity beat him down during that start in Atlanta last Sunday. Defensively for the Texas Rangers this afternoon, in the outfield, Murphy, Gentry, and Cruz from left to right. Young at first, Kinsler at second. Blanco for the injured Elvis Andrus at short. Adrian Beltre at third. And the battery of Ogando and Torrealba, the Rangers defensive alignment, brought to you by Scott's. We mentioned Elvis Andrus, Rangers shortstop, out with a sprained left wrist suffered during last night's game.
Just going in head first, and watch the left wrist kind of get caught underneath his body. So the slick shortstop and the base stealer is going to sit and watch this one this afternoon.
Washington told us Andrews will not play tomorrow. Then the Rangers have an off day on Monday. The umpires, Mike DeMuro behind the plate, Andy Fletcher at first base, the crew chief Tim Welke out at second, and Jim Reynolds is the third base umpire as Jose Reyes steps in the final year of his contract, having a magnificent season.
Yeah, he's just been a lot of fun to watch, not only for New York Met fans, but just fans everywhere. This guy, if he gets on base, he scores. It's that simple.
No Met has ever won a batting title. Reyes leading the National League at .334. And the first pitch from Ogando missing away, ball 1. Reyes also leads the league in runs, hits, and triples. Now 2-0. Reyes 0 for 3 with a walk in last night's game. The DH, Willie Harris, waiting on deck. 2-0 to Reyes, in for strike 1. We mentioned Mets without Jason Bay and Justin Turner in the starting lineup today. Bay suffered a stiff neck last night. Terry Collins hopes to have him back in the lineup tomorrow as Reyes fouls it off to the left side.
Yeah, Jason Bay diving to his left last night, came up with a injured neck on this play, so he's going to sit this one out as well.
And Justin Turner has been bothered by a thumb injury, so Turner not in the starting lineup today, as well as Reyes starts the game with a single to left field.
Boy, what a thing of beauty that was by Jose Reyes. Lets the ball travel, doesn't try to pull it, just swats it the other way. Well, you can see why he's leading the league in hitting. That had a little Rod Carew to it right there.
So Reyes on at first. Markauer 4 keys to the game.
Well, there you just saw it. If he reaches base, he usually scores. That's the key for the Mets. They've got to try to get the lead. That's how you win on the road. Score first. And then for the Rangers, Ogando just needs to get back to his good place. He struggled his last 2 starts after being just fabulous prior to that. He needs to get back and get a little more confident.
Reyes with 26 steals this year and 31 tries. Harris at the plate, batting .236. Only his 12th career at bat as a designated hitter in 11 seasons. Mets on the road in the American League ballpark as Ogando falls behind once again, 2-0. Carlos Beltran waiting on deck. Beltre in on the grass at third. The 2-0 from Ogando, and a base hit for Harris into left field. Reyes to second. So the Mets with runners on first and second with nobody out here in the top of the first inning.
What? That is just gorgeous right there. This time by Willie Harris, letting a pitch travel to the outside corner once again, just swatting it the other way. Reyes not a home run hitter, neither is Harris, but they do that very well, and that is drive the ball the other way and set up the middle of the order.
So 2 on, nobody out. As Beltran steps in, Ogando won his first 7 decisions. He worked out of the bullpen last year, 44 appearances for the Texas Rangers. Moved into the starting rotation and got off to that sizzling start. 7-0 over his first 12 major league starts.
And he fell behind Reyes and Harris 2-0. That's a bad recipe in the major leagues. You got to start throwing strikes early in the count.
There's a strike to Carlos Beltran, who is 0 for his last 14.
He'll just tell you he's due.
3:33 with runners in scoring position. Reyes takes his lead off second. Harris off first. As Ogando misses high with the fastball, 1-1.
You see the arm that Ogando possesses. I mean, he can run it up there to about 96, 97 miles an hour.
Now 1-2 on Beltran.
Fastball, waist high outside corner right there to jump ahead 1-2.
Daniel Murphy, the Mets cleanup hitter in the on-deck circle. First 2 Mets with base hits to left field. Jose Reyes and Willie Harris. One, 2, and Beltran fouls it back to the screen. The 1-2 from Ogando, and a base hit off the bat of Beltran into the gap in left center. It bounces away from Cruz. Reyes scores. Harris around third. He will score. Beltran in standing at third. The Mets with 3 consecutive hits to start this game lead the Texas Rangers 2-0.
Well, Ogando puts a fastball right in the middle of the plate. Beltran 0 for 14 prior to that beautiful swing right there. Hits a rocket into the gap. Cruz tried to slide and knock it down, but he ended up kicking it past Craig Gentry, the center fielder, and turn on the merry-go-round. Once again, Jose Reyes, he got on base and he scored.
And now Daniel Murphy with a bloop down the right field line, just foul.
Just a couple of feet foul. That would have been another RBI base hit. He broke his bat. We'll have to go gather some more lumber.
So for Carlos Beltran, his second triple, no error was assessed to Cruz as that ball bounced away from the Texas right fielder. So a triple for Beltran, his 45th and 46th runs batted in of the season.
You know, we're used to seeing Jose Reyes hit the triples, 13 this year. With Beltran, he just smashed that ball by Cruz and by Gentry in right center field.
Reyes with those 13 triples. Nobody else in all of baseball has more than 8. Now the 0-1 to Murphy. He falls behind 0-2.
And the Texas Rangers have brought their infield in. It's very rare you see the infield in the very first inning. I think Ron Washington, he doesn't want to fall behind by 3. He's not going to concede this run on any ground ball. And they say when you play the infield in, your batting average jumps up an extra 100 points.
Murphy lifts it foul off to the left side. This Mets lineup full of left-handed hitters and switch hitters. Only the number 9 hitter, Tejada, is a righty. And a major reason for Ogando's success this season, right-handed batters with an average of just 154 against Ogando.
Good block there by Yorvit Torrealba, the veteran catcher, saving a would-be wild pitch.
Ogando, an outfielder when he was with the Oakland organization, spent 4 years in the A's system.
Well, you know what that means when they become pitchers. It means he was a lousy hitter.
Left field off the bat of Daniel Murphy. This is David Murphy. Beltran tags. The throw is not in time, and the Mets now lead 3-0. Sacrifice fly, 24th run batted in of the season for Daniel Murphy.
Just good professional hitting right there by Murphy. Got something elevated in the strike zone, something he could lift out to the outfield for the sacrifice fly. And the New York Mets have come out smoking.
The Rangers scored 3 runs in the first inning last night in the bottom of the first. Today it's the Mets out to the 3-0 lead in the top of the first.
Let's see, Ogando continues to scuffle.
Angel Pagan takes a called strike. So Ogando, 4 years in the Oakland system as an outfielder, became a pitcher in 2006. However, due to visa issues, he was not allowed in the United States for over 4 years.
Man.
So he pitched down in the Dominican Republic
for 4 years.
4 years. He was chosen by Texas in the Rule 5 draft in December of 05, but after the 06 season could not pitch in the U.S. Pagan lifts it in foul territory to the third base side, and the catch is made by Adrian Beltre for out number 2. So Ogando stuck with it. He persevered. Allowed back into the United States last season. And how about this, Mark? Over his first 14 starts this year, 3 earned runs allowed in the first inning, 3 so far today.
My goodness. He's going to have to piece it together. Try to keep his team in striking distance.
Lucas Duda, the Mets' first baseman, batting 173 in 23 games. 7th round pick back in 2007 out of USC. Mets with 3 consecutive hits to start this game. Singles by Reyes and Harris, and then Beltran with a 2-run triple. He scored on the Murphy sacrifice fly. 1-1 to Duda. Fouled off to the left side. Now 1-2. Josh Tolley waiting on deck. Should Duda reach. A 1-2 from Ogando, and Duda rips one into the right field corner. Extra bases for Lucas Duda. He's in with a stand-up double, the Mets' 4th base hit of this first inning.
Boy, Ogando's just got to stay out of the middle of the plate belt high. That is just asking for it to major league hitters. This is just a split finger that hangs right in the middle of the plate. Duda does what you're supposed to do it and rip it down the right field line. So the Mets continue to pile on here on Alexi Ogando.
Here's the Mets' number 7 hitter, their catcher Josh Tolley. Fastball missing away, ball 1. Tolley over the last 17 games batting .327. Got off to a slow start at the plate. Mets with 3 runs on 4 hits here in the first inning against 7-game winner Alexi Ogando.
Another 2-0 count here. It's been a bad recipe so far here in the first for Ogando.
He has already thrown 27 pitches.
And what you do when you go 2-0, you become a 1-pitch pitcher. You're going to throw a fastball, and the hitter knows that.
Fastball to Tolley, missing high. Ball 3, now 3-0.
You can see in his body language out on the mound, there's certainly some anxiety out there. Struggled his last 2 starts after just dominating for 2 months.
Now 3-1 on Tolley. Ogando grew up in the Dominican Republic. His pitching coach, Mike Maddox, he idolized former Met Pedro Martinez.
I would imagine a lot of those young kids idolized him. Good fastball there right at the bottom of the kneecaps, 3-2. This is where you want the fastball, folks. You want it down there, down around the knees. He's been up right around the belt for the entire inning, and that's why he's been getting hit so hard.
Payoff pitch to Tolley. On one hop, Kinsler to Michael Young. So a 31-pitch, 3-run first for the Mets. Jose Reyes got things started with a base hit, and then Carlos Beltran drove in a pair. A 3-0 lead as we take a look at the Rangers batting order, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bunny. And Kinsler, the second baseman, leads off, followed by center fielder Craig Gentry. Josh Hamilton, the DH, hits third. Adrian Beltre in the cleanup spot. Then Michael Young, the first baseman. Right fielder Nelson Cruz. Bottom of the order, the catcher Victor Alba. Left fielder David Murphy, and the shortstop Andres Blanco. Jonathan East, 24-year-old left-hander. Record of 6-6 over his first 15 starts this season. He was 9-10 for the Mets a year ago.
Jonathan Neese, a guy that has really opened up a lot of eyes around the National League. He's got a good arm, good command of things, just a good idea about pitching. And you'll see a lot of that from him. You'll see those cut fastballs in on the right-handed hitters. That's what he likes to do, tries to bully those right-handed hitters with cut fastballs.
He has good control. Has not walked a batter over his last 2 starts. Has allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in 9 of his last 12 starts. Has a 3-0 lead today as Kinsler singles into center field, leading off the bottom of the first for the Rangers. Defensively for the Mets, brought to you by Scotch. Pridey, Pagat, and Beltran from left to right of the outfield. Duda at first, Tejada at second, Reyes at short, Murphy at third, and the battery of Neese and Tolley. So the leadoff man is on for the Rangers. Kinsler, similar to Reyes, when he gets on base, Mark, he usually scores.
He usually scores.
Now the difference today is Texas without Elvis Andrus. Gentry moves Kinsler over to second.
Interesting right there. playing for 1 run, down 3, especially in the American League. You just don't see that very often. And I think Nice had a pretty easy play. I'm sorry, Lucas did it at second base. You can see Kinsler had to wait up to see if the ball was going to fall before he went to second. But really, Duda never even took a look at him, just took the out.
So Kinsler now in scoring position with 1 away. As Josh Hamilton steps in, fouls the first pitch off to the left side. 0-1.
The reigning MVP. That's just a straight up defense right there. That's what happens when you hit it from line to line. You can't stack your defense.
Big story here in Texas over the last couple of days. The new contact lenses worn by Josh Hamilton. Tried them out yesterday. Check out his numbers in day games, both career and this season. In fact, this year, day games mark against left-handers, he is 0 for 16. Does not have a base hit against a left-handed pitcher during the day.
And he still doesn't. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. And what he's got to guard against is maybe getting the day game start to get inside his head and start to think, well, it's a day game, I'm not going to get any hits. And that can happen, even to the best of them. You start doubting yourself, and then the really bad things start to happen.
So with 2 outs, here's Adrian Beltre, who had a big game last night. 3 for 5, a home run, 2 doubles, a couple of runs batted in. Beltre got things started for the Rangers in the first inning when he took Mike Pelfrey deep. Beltre leading the Rangers with 55 runs batted in. Of course, Hamilton missed 6 weeks on the DL. There's Michael Young waiting on deck should Beltre reach. The 1-1 from Nice, missing low and inside. Now 2-1.
Big slow breaking ball from Nice. Adrian Beltre just once again having another productive year. His 13th home run here last night, as you mentioned.
Right back to the box. Good play by Nice. Rangers are retired with Kinsler stranded. A 10-pitch first inning for Jonathan Nice. Mets lead 3-0. Bell, think outside the bun. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Kenny Albert with Mark Grace. Beautiful Saturday afternoon in Arlington, Texas. A first inning that Alexei Ogando would like to forget about.
Yeah, he just left too many pitches in the middle of the plate, and you got to credit the New York Mets as well. They pounded him.
Mets facing Ogando for the first time. 3 runs on 4 hits in the top of the first inning. They send 7 men to the plate. Here's the left fielder Jason Pridey leading off, and he takes strike 1. There's Jason Bay sitting out today's game due to that stiff neck. Terry Collins hopes to have him back in the lineup tomorrow. 0-2 on Pridey.
It's just amazing the success that you have when you throw that first pitch strike. Now all of a sudden you can use your breaking ball, you can use your split-fingered fastball. When you're 1-0, 2-0, you just have to start throwing fastballs, and that's why he got hit so hard in the first inning. Look out. Goodness. That's an effective 0-2 pitch right there. One right near your ear hole. Goodness gracious. But like a pro, Pridey just gets right back in the box and says, let's play baseball.
Pridey leading off for the Mets here in the second. He'll be followed by Tejada and then Reyes. Mets leading the Rangers 3-0. First strikeout for Ogando.
Beautiful breaking ball there. All by getting ahead now. You could drop that nice breaking ball, and way out in front of it was Pridey.
So here's the number 9 hitter, Ruben Tejada. Drove in the Mets' only run in last night's game. Batting .274 overall.
I'm sure Ogando, finally a right-handed hitter.
First one he's faced. We mentioned righties batting just .154 against Ogando this season.
And he jumps ahead. 0-1. Tejada, a baby-faced youngster. Oh, the days.
I hear you will be a year older on Tuesday.
I will. I will be years old.
Happy birthday, Mr. Grace.
Thank you. I'm
June 28th.
June 28th, 47 years old. Not quite like Tejada.
So 26 years older than Ruben Tejada. Although who's counting? Long run for Kinsler. He makes the catch for out number 2. Well, Jose Reyes got things started with a single leading off this game. Came around to score. What a season it has been so far for Jose Reyes.
Now, he's just made the game look very easy this year. And all through the distraction of, anytime you play in New York, you're going to have distractions of, you're going to get asked about possibly being traded or free agency and things like that. That just comes with the deal when you play in New York. I think he's handled it so well, and he's just continued to play a magnificent shortstop and leadoff man.
And Reyes said earlier this week, no negotiations until the end of this 2011 season.
He's certainly letting his bat do the talking, isn't he?
His bat, his legs.
Yeah.
Reyes leading the National League in batting average, hits, runs scored, and triples. Something that nobody has done in all of baseball since Rod Carew. And you mentioned Carew during the first inning at bat by Reyes. Hasn't done in the National League since Stan Musial in 1948.
That's the kind of season he's having.
Long run for the center fielder Gentry. He makes the catch, and the Mets are retired in order on 12 pitches by Ogando in the second. is sponsored by Select 55. The superior taste makes it Select. The 55 calories makes it the lightest beer in the world. Bottom of the second inning here in Arlington, Texas, as Michael Young will lead off for the Rangers against Jonathan Nice. Young, 2 hits, including a home run last night, has a 10-game hitting streak. And he takes strike 1 from Nice. Young, a 6-time All-Star. Grew up a Mets fan, although his favorite player was Yankees first baseman Don Mattingly.
Well, you're allowed. You're allowed to like Donnie baseball. He was one of my favorites, too. Michael Young just quietly been one of the best hitters in the game the last few years. And right on cue, a base hit to right field.
As you saw, since the 2002 season, only Ichiro has more base hits than Michael Young.
Eyes light up on a breaking ball. Stays back nicely, lets the curveball travel and drives it to the right side. It's just beautiful hitting.
Extending his hitting streak to 11 games. So the Rangers have the leadoff man on for the second straight inning. Here's Nelson Cruz, who went 0 for 4 last night. Loses his bat, winds up hitting the netting to the right of the Mets dugout.
Fortunately, the people right behind the visitors on deck circle got saved from a helicopter coming their way. Look out.
Nelson Cruz, 17 home runs this season, leads the Rangers and 5th in the American League. Hit 22 last season, 33 in 2009. Your Torrealba waiting on deck. 1 ball, 2 strike count. As Nice delivers. Nice block by the catcher Tolley. Now 2-2. Nelson Cruz, originally signed by the Mets back in 1998. Mets traded him to Oakland in 2000.
Now a full count here. It's decision time for Ron Washington. You send Michael Young at first base, trying to stay out of the double play.
Young holds. Payoff pitch.
It should be ball 4.
Cruz looking around. Count was 3-2, both on the scoreboard and on our Fox box.
That should be ball 4. Well, maybe we can go back and count the pitches.
Now the payoff pitch from Nice, and Cruz got a piece of it.
Kneecap there from Nelson Cruz. But the big fellow get right back in there and try it again.
Michael Young, the runner on first, nobody out. Bottom of the second inning here in Arlington, Texas. And Cruz down on strike. Second strikeout for Jonathan Nice. 1 away.
Beautiful slider there right on the back foot of Nelson Cruz. He's a strikeout victim. Perfectly executed. Right to the glove of Josh Tolley.
So with 1 away, here is your Torrealba. The only Ranger in today's lineup who has faced Jonathan Nice prior. Torrealba with the Padres last year. 1 for 5 against Nice with 2 strikeouts. Takes ball 1. Torrealba on fire during the month of June, batting .389, 6 for 11 over his last 4 games. One and 2 on Torrealba.
We think.
Well, following this at bat, we will take you back to that Nelson Cruz at bat.
You and I both thought it was ball 4. Is that correct? Were we wrong or right?
The scoreboard here in the ballpark as well. Mets benefit as Nice would then strike out Nelson Cruz.
That's exactly right. What we thought was ball 4 ended up a couple of pitches later being a strikeout, and instead of first and second, nobody out.
Daniel Murphy gets the out at first as the tag is applied by Lucas Duda. So now 2 away with Young moving to second. Let's take a look back, Mark, at that Nelson Cruz at bat.
Count with us, folks. Okay, strike 1. Now it's 1-1. That's strike 2. Now it's 2-2. It's now 3-2. That should have been ball 4. And he ends up striking out. So that's a huge play in this game right now.
Absolutely.
You go from first and second, nobody out, to runner on first only and 1 out. That changes the entire inning. And nobody knew it but you and me, Kenny.
Bounce foul to the right side. 0-2 on David Murphy.
None of the umpires had it as ball 4.
And I guess nobody in the Texas dugout questions it either.
Yeah, well, and John Neese isn't going to say anything.
Young takes his lead off second with 2 outs. And there's ball 1 to Murphy. Murphy 0 for 2 with a pair of walks last night. No hits in his last 8 at bats. Mets leading the Rangers 3-0. A 1-2 from Nice. Fouled off to the left side. Jonathan Eastmark, born 7:47 in the morning on October 27th, 1986. That night, the Mets won the World Series. Game 7 of Monday night against the Red Sox. Jesse Orozco on the mound. Jonathan Neese, born about 15 hours earlier.
What a team that was, and what a night that was in the Neese family. We're getting old.
Are we ever? And the manager of that Mets ball club, of course, was Davey Johnson. As you heard from Josh Lewin on our pregame show, all signs point to Davey as the next manager of the Washington Nationals.
Good for the older fellas. Jack McKeon taking over in Florida now. The 68 years young Davey Johnson. Most likely the guy that's going to take over for the Washington Nationals. Strike 3.
Third strikeout for Neese. So 2 innings in the books here in Arlington. Will return after these messages from your local Fox station. Presented by Sprint. Sprint. All together now. New York Mets lead the Texas Rangers 3-0. Top of the third inning as Willie Harris steps in to lead off against Alexei Ogando. Harris singled back in the first inning, came around to score on the Beltran triple. Harris, Beltran, and Murphy for the Mets here in the third. Mets 3 runs on 4 hits in the first inning, and then Ogando retired the Mets in order in the second. Fastball missing inside, ball 1. Now, Willie Harris spent the last 3 seasons with the Washington Nationals. We mentioned Davey Johnson, the most likely replacement. You played for Jim Riggleman in Chicago, and I know you were a big fan of his as a manager. What was your take on the situation that developed over the last couple of days?
Just puzzling. And 2 of my favorite guys in Major League Baseball, Jim Riggleman and Mike Rizzo, the GM of the Washington Nationals, somehow, some way, they just could not get it together. And it just seems like it turned into a really big he said, she said, 5th grade girl type of thing, fighting over a boyfriend. And it's puzzling. I think my take on it is, Jim Riggleman saw the writing on the wall that he was probably not going to be in the plans after this year. And I think by winning 13 out of 14, he probably thought my stock is as high as it can be right now. So I'm going to go in there and see if I can get a commitment from ownership on a contract. But sometimes be careful what you ask for. And his resignation was accepted.
Payoff pitch from Ogando. Sharp hop, bounces away from Beltre. Harris safe at first.
Well, that one took a big old bite out of Beltre over there at third base. A sure-handed third baseman. It looked like it took a bad hop on him. And just came up and got him in the collarbone area, it looks like. Forearm.
So the Mets have the leadoff man on here in the third. You don't think 5th grade boys fight at all?
Well, that's true. That's true. They do.
Just checking.
I got a 5th grade boy. He likes to fight his little brother.
Don't they all?
I was a little brother. I took my share of whoopings.
Error charge to Beltre, his 8th of the year. Here's Beltran. Tripled in 2 runs back in the first inning.
Ogando's starting to get a little frustrated with the calls right now. Home plate umpire Mike DeMuro. Another 2-0 count.
There's Daniel Murphy waiting on deck. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly back in the first inning. After Beltran tripled in a pair of runs. Beltran with another base hit. Moving to second is Harris. As was the case in the first inning, Mets with 2 on and nobody out.
Ogando falls behind 2-0 and he has to throw a fastball for a strike, and Beltran was just waiting on it and ripped it into right field.
Well, you said he was due. 0 for his last 14 coming into this game. Beltran now 2 for 2.
Great hitters eventually are going to get you. You just hope they do it against somebody else.
Mets 5th hit of the game. Here's Daniel Murphy. Sacrifice fly back in the first inning. His 24th run batted in of the season.
There's the strike to the inside corner. Good pitch. Playing a little bit opposite in the outfield and straight up on the infield.
Now a visit to the mound by Torrealba. Ogando so good over those first 12 starts. Rangers president Nolan Ryan said, "I shudder to think where we would be without him."
Now he's been that good.
Mike Maddox, Rangers pitching coach. One to Murphy, right back to the box. Ogando to third. So the Rangers get the lead runner, Willie Harris.
Well, he cost himself a double play by throwing to third base. And he knows it. And this is just a turn and spin, throw to second base, and it's a double play, but instead he decides to go to third. And he gets the lead runner, certainly. But he cost himself an out. He went into a slide, but he was still about 40 feet from the bag.
So first and second with one out. And Angel Pagan at the plate. Fouled out to the third baseman Beltre. His first time up. That's the second time over these first 3 innings that a fielder, in your estimation, has thrown to the wrong base.
Well, in that situation, certainly. That's when you want to get the 2 outs and go ahead and have the guy on third base. But we saw it earlier in the ball game when young first baseman Lucas Duda elected not to get the lead runner and instead went the safe route to first base.
Two and one on Pagan. 1 out, top of the third inning. Mets lead the Rangers 3-0. Pagan pops it into shallow left center. The catch is made by Gentry. Runners hold. Let's take you back to that first inning play when Duda elected to go to first and not go for the lead runner Kinsler. Here is his conversation with Mets third base coach and infielder instructor Chip Hale.
So you know that. So you could go whatever way you want, spin, whatever. But your first move should have been boom, and now you could have said, I don't think so. And then you still have time to go to first.
I was thinking one the whole way.
Right, that's exactly right. That's what it looked like. And that's just inexperience at the position.
Just inexperience at the position. That's just called coaching and teaching. And that's what these, even at the major league level, you've got youngsters that might be out of position due to an outfielder in the minor leagues. But Chip Hale, not yelling at him at all, not scolding him at all, just teaching him. That's good stuff.
And we thank Chip for wearing a microphone for us today. Duda making only his 7th start at first base for the Mets this season.
And if you listened really closely, you could hear Duda in the background saying, I was just thinking one the whole way. And Chip Hale was saying, that's right, that's what it looked like. Now remember, this inning could be easily over right now. This is the extra out Ogando's has to get because he went to third base on that comebacker earlier in the inning.
Frustrating for Texas Ranger fans because in the bottom of the second, Rangers should have had 2 on, nobody out.
That's exactly
with
right.
Cruz at the plate. So that inning ended quicker than they had hoped because the umpires did not realize that ball 4 was ball 4.
And nobody on the Texas Rangers realized it. I can promise you there's some people in the Mets dugout saying we got away with one there.
And now the 3-0 to Duda. Fastball in for a called strike. 3-1.
Just kind of makes you wonder. You think Nelson Cruz knows it yet? Somebody's had to have told him. Good pitch there to make it a full count. Runners will be going with 2 outs and a 3-2 count.
Beltran and Murphy, the base runners.
Ogando really slowing things down out there. And that's going to bring a trip from Yorvi Torrealba.
Ogando usually a fast worker. Well, help make a baseball moment kids will never forget. Go to ChevyBaseball.com to support youth baseball. Plus, enter to win one of 4 trips to the 2011 Major League Baseball All-Star Game and the keys to a new Chevrolet. Ron Washington has the keys to 7 spots on the American League squad. After the fan balloting results are announced, players in each league will pick 17 additional players, and then the managers will choose the final 7. Runners go. Payoff pitch is a base hit down the right field line. Beltran scores. Here's Murphy around third. Duda in at second with a stand-up double. He drives in 2, his 6th and 7th. Runs batted in of the season. The New York Mets now lead 5-0.
Ogando is going to be kicking himself in the pants when he gets back in the dugout, realizing that he gave the New York Mets an extra out by not going to second and getting a double play. Instead, that extra out, it doesn't come because Duda rips it past a diving Young, and the runners going on the 3-2 count. They both easily scored.
And of course, you never know what would have happened after that had the Rangers turned 2, but it was a huge extra out that the Rangers were not able to pick up. So the Mets with 5 runs over the first 3 innings, 30-9 when they score at least 4.
A lot of people in New York very happy with the job Terry Collins has done with the New York Mets. Am I right, Kenny?
Absolutely.
I think he's done a terrific job with all the injuries.
Mets have been without Johan Santana, their ace, for the entire season. David Wright has played in only 39 games. Of the Mets, 77 games so far. Ike Davis only 36. There's a chance Davis could miss the remainder of this season.
That's your 2 powerful corner infielders and one of the game's best pitchers.
John Neese told us yesterday Collins is a very good communicator. His door is always open. Makes it easy to work for him.
Players love that too. A guy that'll be honest with you, and if there's something bothering you, come on in, we'll talk about it.
And you've told me Jim Riggleman was one of the best managers you played for.
That's exactly true. He was one of my favorites. Just a puzzling situation in the nation's capital. Good pitch there for strike 2.
2-2 on Tolley. Due to the runner on second following his second double of this game. Pridey waiting on deck. Should Tolley reach? That's with 5 runs on 6 hits against Alexei Ogando today.
Let's take a look at that play that gave him the extra out. If Ogando just goes to second base, that's an easy double play. Instead, he elects to throw to third base. And a lot of times when a pitcher's got the ball in his hands and things are going haywire out there, panic will set in. Dave Bush getting loose out in the Ranger bullpen.
Josh Tolley off the glove of the shortstop Blanco. Here comes Duda in to score the Mets' 6th run. So a base hit, 19th run batted in of the season for Tolley. It's now 6-0.
And those 2 out runs just burn an opposing pitcher. You're 1 pitch away from putting a 0 on the board. Instead, a couple of big 2 out hits from Duda, and now from Tolley. 3 runs come across the board, and those will just leave you an empty feeling if you're a pitcher out there.
All 3 runs scored by the Mets here in the 3rd inning are unearned following that error committed by Beltre. Friday struck out his first time up back in the 2nd inning. Center field, base hit.
Well, the New York Mets are giving Alexi Ogando a pounding. Makes you wonder how much longer Ron Washington's going to stay in the dugout.
Not what many folks expected when they looked at the Mets lineup card prior to today's game.
You're exactly right. A lot of guys hurt. A lot of guys getting the day off, dinged up. Guys like Jason Bay.
Justin Turner
having trouble with a thumb. And this is about the 12th meeting between Yorvit Torrealba and Alexi Ogando.
Mets sent 7 batters to the plate in the 1st inning, with Reyes setting the table. Then Ogando retired the Mets in order in the 2nd. And now Ruben Tejada, the 8th Met to bat here in the 3rd inning. Tolley takes his lead off 2nd. Pridey over at 1st. And Tejada, the only righty in the Mets lineup today, swings and misses, 0-1. Mets with 6 runs on 8 hits. Slow roller to the shortstop, Blanco. And the Mets are finally retired in the 3rd, but they double their lead. It's now 6-0 New York. The first 3 innings for Jonathan Neese. They lead the Rangers 6-0 as Andres Blanco steps in for the first time today and takes ball one. Blanco 0 for his last 18 at the plate. Making the start today at shortstop for the injured Elvis Andrus, who suffered that sprained wrist while sliding headfirst into second base last night.
And all of a sudden, John Neese with a big touchdown cushion here.
Two one from Neese, catching the inside corner, now 2-2. Neese has allowed 2 base hits over the first 2 innings. Rangers leadoff men reaching in each of the first 2. Kinsler in the first and Michael Young in the second.
Nice play, Terry Collins. He still got it.
Blanco down on strikes. 4th strikeout for Jonathan Neese. Time now for a DirecTV game break. Yankees and the Rockies. Yankees leading 6-1. Top of the 8th inning. Here is CC Sabathia striking out Jonathan Herrera. And then at the bottom of the 8th, Mark Teixeira at the plate, his 22nd of the year. Off Rafael Betancourt, trailing only Jose Bautista, who has hit 23 home runs. The Yankees win at 8-3. Sabathia, first major league pitcher to reach 10 wins this season.
Not surprising. He seems to do it every year.
Get every MLB game and the most in HD. Call 1-800 DirecTV. Ian Kinsler singled up the middle back in the first inning, extending his hitting streak to 4 games. Kinsler, a 2-time All-Star, coming into this game, Mark. Kinsler batting .319 here at home, just .161 on the road.
Yeah, just too good a hitter to have that big a discrepancy. This guy's talented enough. He should be hitting everywhere.
6th in the league in runs scored, 8th in steals. Usually it's Elvis Andrus hitting behind Kinsler, but today it's Craig Gentry as Kinsler heads down to first. First walk issued by Jonathan Neese today. So with 1 on and 1 out, here's Craig Gentry. Sacrifice bunt his first time up. Gentry, a speedster as well. Grew up in Arkansas. 3-time state champion in the 200 and 400 meter dash. 3-time state long jump champion. And a high jump champ as well.
So Craig Gentry and I have absolutely nothing in common.
I guess you never participated in the long jump or the high jump?
No.
No? On the ground to the shortstop, Reyes. Steps on second for 1. Fires to first. Double play. And that will do it for the Rangers in the 3rd. Drive one. And by AT&T. Rethink possible. Kenny Albert, Mark Grace back in Arlington. Mets leading the Rangers 6-0. The starter for Texas, Alexi Ogando, lasting only 3 innings through 76 pitches. Here's 31-year-old right-hander Dave Bush, primarily a starter throughout his career with Toronto and Milwaukee. So Bush will face Jose Reyes leading off for the Mets here in the 4th. Swings at the first pitch and flies out to the center fielder Gentry for out number 1.
So 1 pitch, 1 out. A line drive right to center fielder Craig Gentry. So the always exciting Jose Reyes is retired.
So here's Willie Harris, who has reached base twice. Singleton scored back in the 1st. I guess Ogando does not like pitching against teams from New York.
Yeah, the Yankees got him earlier this year, didn't they?
He suffered his first loss at Yankee Stadium 2 starts ago, back on June 14th. Lasted only an inning and 2/3. Allowed 6 runs on 6 hits. Today against the Mets, 3 innings, 6 runs, 3 earned on 8 base hits.
He just got hit very hard by a kind of pieced together lineup here by Terry Collins. But boy, they feasted on the extremely talented Alexi Ogando.
Now 2-1 on Harris, with Carlos Beltran waiting on deck. Mets 2 games under the 500 mark. They have not been over 500 since April 6th, when they were 3-2. They have been at 500 5 different times. The last time at 34-34. A win today, and the Mets would pull back to within 1 game under 500. Terry Collins' club in their last series won 2 of 3 from Oakland. And they will next head to Detroit as interleague play continues. Willie Harris down on strike, so 2 up, 2 down against Dave Bush here in the 4th. What is the greatest moment in the 77-year history of the All-Star Game? You decide. Join the Midsummer Classics debate by going to MLB.com/moments to fill out your bracket. Tune in to Fox Saturday Baseball each week leading up to the All-Star Game to see which moments advance to the next round.
What was your favorite All-Star Game moment, Kenny? I'll tell you mine. My most memorable was a throw from right field by Dave Parker in the Seattle Kingdome to nail Brian Downing at the plate. Gary Carter blocking the plate. Brian Downing still has not touched home plate.
Here's Beltran, left field, Murphy under it. And we will continue our favorite All-Star moments discussion when we return. Middle of the 4th here in Arlington. 6-0 Mets. Megastars gather in the Arizona desert for one spectacular night. Fox will bring you every thrilling moment of the 2011 Baseball All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 12th, live from Phoenix, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. How about Josh Hamilton at the Home Run Derby back in 2008 at Yankee Stadium?
I've never seen a show like that. That's the unfortunate part of that is he didn't win the home run contest.
That's right.
Justin Morneau did.
Hamilton hitting majestic bombs into the Bronx night.
When you're an opposing player and you have Yankee fans really cheering for you, you've done something spectacular.
Hamilton struck out back in the first inning. Here's the 1-2 from Nice. And Hamilton's bat goes flying about 12 rows up behind the Rangers dugout.
My goodness. And Josh Hamilton. He said, go ahead and keep it. It's a bad bat. The guy wearing his jersey got the bat. You see the high fastball. Hopefully everybody's okay. He said, go ahead and keep it.
So Hamilton strikes out for the second time and is now 0 for 18 this season during the day against left-handed pitching. Here's Adrian Beltre, left center. And Beltre puts the Rangers on the board. His 14th home run of the season. His second in 2 games against the Mets.
First pitch he sees, he just destroys it. About 400 feet away in left center field. Boy, that was such a strong young man. That ball got out of here quickly.
Only the 8th home run allowed by Nice. Second the last 47 innings off Jonathan Nice. Beltre went deep in the first inning last night off Mets starter and loser Mike Pelfrey. Nice missing inside to Michael Young, now 1-1. Beltre an all-star last year. Finished 9th in American League MVP voting as a member of the Boston Red Sox. And you talk about all-star memories, of course, this well before our time, but Carl Hubble striking out 5 future Hall of Famers consecutively back in 1934.
That would have been cool to see.
You played in 3 All-Star games, including one right here in Arlington back in '95.
That was won by the National Leaguers that year.
3-2.
3-2.
Michael Young with a drive, deep left field. Friday looking up. And it's out of here, back to back. First Adrian Beltre, and then Michael Young with a solo shot.
Picks out a fastball in and just drives it out of here over that high wall in left field. Just enough to get over the boards.
Young homered last night as well. Rangers hitting 3 2-run home runs last night. Beltre, Young, and Hamilton. Beltre and Young with solo home runs here in the 4th. And now Nelson Cruz rounds out to the second baseman, Ruben Tejada, for out number 2. Rangers second in the American League mark now with 88 home runs. They trail only the Yankees.
Well, that's how they beat you. They beat you with the bats. Yes, they've got a good pitching staff as well, but this team likes to just mercifully beat you with home runs and doubles and triples. Yeah. It's good advice around here.
Two away. Here's your Villarreal, grounded out to the third baseman Murphy, his first time up. Michael Young now with 6 home runs on the season, 3 in his last 4 games. Fair ball down the left field line. A 2-out double for your Villarreal, the third extra base hit of the inning for the Texas Rangers.
Got a fastball to his liking and smokes it down the left field line, just inside the left field line. This time the Rangers starting to make some noise. Looking for those fastballs in from John Neese. Right past Andy Fletcher down the third base line.
David Murphy, right field. This will stay in the ballpark. Beltran is under it. And that will do it for the Rangers in the 4th, but they scored twice, back-to-back solo home runs. First, Adrian Beltre, and then Michael Young. Fun, groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. Stand up for someone you love. Visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports to learn more. Mets lead the Rangers 6-2. Top of the 5th inning. Daniel Murphy leading off against Dave Bush, working his 2nd inning in relief of Alexei Ogando. Murphy sacrifice fly in the 1st inning. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd.
Dave Bush having to come in and restore a little order after the Mets knocked around Alexei Ogando.
Mets scored 3 runs on 4 hits in the 1st, 3 runs on 4 hits again in the 3rd. Left center. Daniel Murphy flies out to David Murphy for the 2nd time. 1 away. Time now for a DirecTV game break. We take you back to the Gold Cup Semifinal matchup on Wednesday. The U.S. and Panama. Freddie Adu with the pass to Landon Donovan. He sets up Clint Dempsey for a goal. There it is in the 77th minute. The U.S. beat Panama to advance to the Gold Cup final tonight on Fox Soccer. The U.S. and Mexico. It's the biggest match for each squad outside of the World Cup.
I will be watching.
I know you can't wait to watch Javier Chicharito Hernandez, the young star from Mexico who has 7 goals in the tournament in 5 matches.
One of the greatest players in the world.
Goes by the nickname of Little P. Had a brilliant rookie season with Manchester United. So the U.S. and Mexico, 9 Eastern tonight on the Fox Soccer Channel. We're looking forward to it.
I like watching those Team USA games.
Clint Dempsey with 3 goals in the competition, including the one we just saw against Panama on Wednesday. 1-1 to Pagan. Bush missing away, now 2-1. Pagan 0 for 2 today. Batting .300 since coming off the disabled list in late May. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the 5th inning in Arlington. Mets led 6-0. It's now 6-2 following a pair of Texas Ranger home runs. Young will take it to the bag himself for out number 2. Well, Mark, we spoke to Terry Collins earlier, and he mentioned to us that today is his dad Bud's 92nd birthday.
Well, happy 92nd birthday, Mr. Collins. Up in Michigan, is that right?
Midland, Michigan, and the Mets will travel to Detroit to face the Tigers in their next series. So Terry will have the opportunity to spend some time with his dad, Bud Collins.
Years. Bud Collins, not the tennis broadcaster.
He is not spending his 92nd birthday interviewing Chris Everett. The other Bud Collins.
Well, I loved watching tennis matches back then. Tennis had a lot of star power back then.
Great rivalries back in the 70s and 80s.
New York's own John McEnroe. Nice curveball from Bush. He's come in and thrown the ball very well in relief of Ogando.
McEnroe, of course, grew up in Queens, not too far from Shea Stadium. Base hit, right field off the bat of Duda. That's his 3rd hit of the game. Lucas Duda, 3 for 3.
Well, congratulations, Lucas Duda.
First career 3-hit game. You know who else grew up in Queens? John Daniels, the Rangers general manager.
That's right.
He was a big Mets fan. He is not here today. He's on a scouting trip to Japan. But John Daniels, a Queens native as well.
Always looking for talent, aren't they? Going to the far reaches.
You played against the Mets in Japan, right?
I did, in the year 2000. Major League Baseball sent my team, the Chicago Cubs, and the New York Mets over to Japan to play 2 games. And then came back and got 1 day off.
That was it, huh?
Yeah. Needless to say, teams feasted on us for about a week.
Did it feel any different playing overseas?
Yeah, Japan baseball is it's a huge sport. It's beloved in Japan, but it's more like a college football atmosphere where there's a lot of music and horns and fight songs and stuff like that being played that you don't really have here. That's ball 3. But they love their baseball over there.
Of course, Bobby Valentine, the former Mets manager, spent many years managing in Japan. The Phillies manager, Charlie Manuel, was a star as a player over in Japan. .3-0 to Tolley, and he walks on 4 pitches. Duda moves to second. Mets have 2 on with 2 out. Well, if you like Fox Sports on Facebook, you can win sports gear. Enter today at facebook.com/Fox Sports, where you will find exclusive news, video, and games. Log on today to facebook.com/Fox Sports. Go ahead, like us.
I like that.
I bet you they'll be on Facebook in a couple of years.
2 beautiful little gals and enjoying a cold beverage on a very warm day here in the heart of Texas.
96 degrees at the start of today's game. Did not hurt the Mets in the first inning as they scored 3 off Alexei Agondo. 3 more in the third. Jason Pridey at the plate with 2 on and 2 out.
Good curveball to start him off. 0-1.
Duda and Tolley, the base runners for the Mets. The 0-1 to Pridey. On the ground to the first baseman, Young. Mets ran 2 in the 5th. Still lead the Rangers 6-2.
Discuss the plan to get this. This is the most coveted thing in baseball. Currently in San Francisco right now. And gentlemen, we are going to steal it.
So a smash and grab job?
Slightly more complicated than that.
Well, yeah.
Some of the Cleveland Indians relief pitchers visited the MLB Fan Cave in Manhattan over the past couple of weeks.
And they seem to want what San Francisco's got, huh?
I'm sure they had a good time with Ryan Wagner and Mike O'Hara, who have watched a portion of every Major League Baseball game that has been played so far this season. They've heard a lot of you.
Well, and we're not even halfway done yet. They got a lot more baseball to watch.
They've been watching Jonathan Neese this afternoon. His Mets lead the Rangers 6-2 as Andres Blanco takes a called strike. Right field, Carlos Beltran. 1 out. Well, Mark, the All-Star game coming up next month in Phoenix right here on Fox. And we talked to Rangers skipper Ron Washington before the game. He could not be any more excited about his chance to lead the American League All-Star squad.
Yeah, he's excited and he's also proud. He knows that the only reason he is the manager of the American League for the All-Star game is because his team went to the World Series. And he had a great year last year. He's got his team in first place again this year. And good for him. He deserves it.
And he told us, I absolutely want to win that All-Star game.
Well, and if you think about it, and we've spoken about this before, Kenny, Major League Baseball's All-Star game is the only All-Star game where the players actually try. In the NBA All-Star game, there's no defense being played. Hockey, those games are 14-12 a lot of times. There's no checking. And in football, they hardly play at all. But in baseball, they are trying to win that game. They're playing hard. Pitchers are out there trying to get that guy out. Hitters are out there trying to get hits.
And, of course, the Texas Rangers did not have home field advantage in the World Series last October due to Brian McCann and the National League winning
exactly right.
last year's All-Star game.
Another fastball, another half swing there by Ian Kinsler. That one just snuck right by him.
Ron Washington was honored to be selected by Jim Leyland as a coach back in 2007. Tigers had gone to the World Series in 06, so Leyland managed the American League All-Stars that year. That was Washington's first year as Rangers manager. He, along with Bruce Bochy, will be in charge July 12th in Phoenix.
Looking forward to that.
Kinsler draws his second walk today. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Sprint. All together now. A one-out base runner for the Texas Rangers, who trail the New York Mets 6-2. Here's Craig Gentry. Sacrifice bunt in the first inning, grounded into a double play in the third. Kinsler, 15 steals this year. Takes his lead off first. He's quickly off the mound. The scoop to first. And Gentry is retired.
Oh, what a pitch there by John Neese. He just hurt the feelings right there of Craig Gentry. Right off his thumbs. An easy second out. This ball is right off his batting gloves. And Josh Hamilton going to get a chance here with 2 outs. He's going to strike out Victim twice here in a day game because of those blue eyes.
He talked about the glare during day games due to the fact that he has blue eyes. He also talked about it with Jason Bay of the Mets, who said that he's gone through the same thing. Bay has blue eyes, and he has started to wear sunglasses at the plate during afternoon games.
Well, the bluest eyes I ever saw in baseball were Cal Ripken's. He was just fine.
And Mark, you of course have blue eyes yourself, and our staff researched your batting average.
I played a lot of day games,
especially playing in Chicago,
right.
Wrigley Field, and you were above 300 during the day.
I was above 300? Ah, well, sorry, Josh.
You don't believe in his theory, huh?
Not really. Not really. But, it's a theory. It doesn't make Josh wrong. It just doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean he's right. I just think he probably played high school baseball and played it very well. First overall pick. He played day games in high school. Those were those same eyes.
So I'm rubbing that right eye. came out yesterday for batting practice wearing orange contact lenses. And his manager, Ron Washington, was throwing BP, and Josh said that he was able to see the ball a lot better than in other batting practices this season. Well, today, it's a day game. Yeah. He struck out 3 times.
Hasn't been so good.
New York Mets lead the Texas Rangers 6-2 as we move to the 6th. Ruben Tejada 0 for 2 today will lead off against Dave Bush, pitching his 3rd inning in relief of Texas starter Alexei Ogando, who allowed 6 runs, 3 earned on 8 hits in 3 innings. Six runs on 9 hits for the Mets, who lost last night's series opener 8-1. The 1-1 to Tejada. Bush missing low, now 2-1. There's Jose Reyes waiting on deck in case you joined us late. Jason Bay and Justin Turner not in the Mets starting lineup today. Bay suffered a stiff neck last night, and Turner has been battling a thumb injury, so he has the day off as well. We talked to Terry Collins about David Wright. He will spend the next 3 days getting back into baseball shape. He will start swinging the bat on Wednesday, and Terry Collins will actually head to Florida during the All-Star break to check in person on his 3rd baseman.
You think David Wright's not important to these New York Mets? He's heading down to Florida during the All-Star break to check on his young star 3rd baseman.
So the Mets have been without David Wright, their 3rd baseman, without 1st baseman Ike Davis. Tejada with a base hit into right center. So the leadoff man is on for the Mets here in the 6th. Time now for another DirecTV game break Indians and Giants last night. Shin-Soo Choo at the plate, hit by the Jonathan Sanchez pitch. Suffers a fractured left thumb. He will likely miss the next 6 weeks.
What a shame.
So the Indians without Shin-Soo Choo. Jose Reyes 1 for 3 today. Looking to bunt his way on. And he beats the toss from the pitcher Bush.
Just another weapon that Jose Reyes brings to the table. This time he takes a bunt with him. Dave Bush pounces on it quickly. But Reyes beats it. Actually made a nice play. Reyes just too quick.
Second hit of the game. And league leading 109th hit off the bat of Jose Reyes this season. So Mark, for the third time in 6 innings, Mets have 2 on with nobody out.
Man. Let's see if a bunt's in order here in this situation with Beltran on deck.
Corner infielders in and a base hit over the second baseman Kinsler for Willie Harris. Tejada scores. The Mets now lead 7-2. 9th run batted in of the season for today's Mets designated hitter, Willie Harris.
Just a ball right in the middle of the plate. Willie Harris rips it over the head of Ian Kinsler. And then the Mets starting to add on here. Another visit to the mound by Mike Maddox. 12 hits now for the New York Mets, with nobody out here in the 6th.
So as was the case in the first inning, the first 3 Mets with base hits here in the 6th. The left-hander Michael Kirkman up and throwing in the Texas pen. Here's Carlos Beltran. Beltran, 2 hits today, has driven in a couple of runs. A 2-run triple back in the first inning. We've talked about the Mets and their injuries with Wright and Davis. We saw Shin-Soo Choo, who will miss the next 6 weeks for the Indians. And how about Albert Pujols?
Yeah, that's just a shame.
Out 4 to 6 weeks.
Guys like him are just good for the game.
Justin Morneau of the Twins headed for neck surgery.
Man, he's had a rough couple of years with the concussion syndrome and now the neck surgery.
Mets thrilled to have a healthy Beltran. Both runners go. Safe at third is Reyes. Safe at second, Willie Harris on the double steal.
Just ahead of the tag.
Reyes with his 27th steal of the season. Harris his 3rd. Jose Reyes back where it all started. Made his major league debut in this ballpark back in June of 2003.
I like Terry Collins keeping his foot on the accelerator over there in the dugout. Go ahead and put a double steal on.
Mets lead the National League in stolen bases. Now with 76. Two-one to Beltran. Base hit right field over the outstretched glove of Kinsler. Reyes scores. 3rd run batted in of the game for Beltran, and the Mets now lead 8-2. Their 4th consecutive hit here in the 6th inning off Dave Bush. Here comes Ron Washington. Beltran breaking out of his 0 for 14 slump in a big way. He is 3 for 4 today here at Arlington as Washington calls for the left-hander, Michael Kirkman. For the New York Mets today.
Boy, and then some. They have absolutely been steamrolling Ranger pitching here this afternoon. They set the tone in the very first inning. Reyes a base hit, Harris a base hit, Beltran a triple, and the Mets haven't looked back since.
So now the third pitcher of the game for the Rangers, 24-year-old left-hander Michael Kirkman, making his 10th appearance. He was the Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Year last season with Oklahoma City. Made 14 appearances out of the pen for the Rangers. And he will face Daniel Murphy with runners on first and third, and still nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. Murphy a sacrifice fly back in the first.
Seems strange to say the pitcher of the year in the Pacific Coast League in Oklahoma City.
Good point. Off the fist, base hit for Murphy, 9-2 Mets. Harris scores. Mets with 5 consecutive hits here in the 6th.
When Murphy just pulled his hands in nicely and just ripped it right back where it came from. Bang, right back up the box.
So 5 consecutive base hits for the New York Mets here in the 6th inning, including the bunt single by Reyes. He was involved in the double steal along with Harris. Mets very aggressive today. They now lead 9-2. Here's Angel Pagan. Pagan 0 for 3 is the only Met who has not reached base today. Beltran and Murphy the base runners. A 1-0 from Kirkman. Fastball gets away from Torrealba. Runners home.
Torrealba just able to keep it close enough to keep the Met base runners at bay.
The 9 runs scored by the Mets today ties their season high. It's the 6th time the Mets have scored 9 runs in a game this year. Now 2-1 on Angel Pagan. Lucas Duda has 3 hits today. He's on deck. Still nobody out. Mets with 5 consecutive hits here in the top of the 6th inning as they add to their lead. Mets led 6-0. Beltran Young with back-to-back home runs in the 4th to cut the deficit to 6-2. But the Mets have scored 3 times here in the 6th inning. Kirkman to Pagan. Ball 3. One from Kirkman, missing low and inside. Ball 4. So Pagan heads to first, and the bases are full of Mets. Well, the Mets will return to Fox next Saturday as interleague play returns. Mets and the Yankees. Derek Jeter in the quest for 3,000. Will Jeter be activated from the disabled list this week? He is 6 hits shy of 3,000. 2,994. Next week's telecast of Fox Saturday Baseball begins at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area.
Looking forward to seeing Derek do that.
Working out down in Tampa at the Yankees minor league complex.
That's a bunch of hits.
Made his major league debut back in 1995. Won a World Series the next year. Again in 98, 99, 2000. Ran into Mark Grace and the Diamondbacks in 01. Won another title in 2009. Lucas Duda with the bases loaded.
Kirkman really having a tough time throwing strikes.
Beltran on third. There's Murphy and Pagan. Mets without a grand slam this season. Bases loaded, nobody out. Duda 3 hits today. All 6 Mets have reached base this inning. 5 hits and a walk.
Nobody throwing in the Ranger bullpen, so right now it's all Michael Kirkman.
Fouled off. 2-1. Another foul, now 2-2.
Good fastball there from Kirkman. He beat him with it. Duda looking for his 4th hit. He one of many Mets with multi-hit games here this afternoon.
Duda with 2 doubles. Drove in 2 runs back in the 3rd inning. The 2-2 from Kirkman. Another foul. Lucas Duda, the player of the year in the Mets organization last season. He's been called up 3 times by the Mets this year. California native, attended USC. His first career 3-hit game today in the major leagues. (2-2). Kirkman missing high and tight. Full count. Beltran on third. Murphy takes his lead off second, and Pagan over at first. Nowhere to put Lucas Duda. Payoff pitch from Kirkman. Deep center, Gentry on the run. He reaches up and it's off the wall. Beltran scores. Here comes Murphy. Stopping at third is Pagan. Duda with his 4th hit of the game, his 3rd double. He's driven in 4 runs. And the Mets now lead 11-2.
And he missed a grand slam by about mere inches. Driving a fastball a long way. This is a big old Duda. You see Greg Gentry runs out of room right at the bottom of the wall. It goes. 2 more runs score. 5 runs across here in this inning, and there is still nobody out.
5 runs on 6 hits here in the 6th. Here's Josh Tolley with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Bounce foul to the right side. 0-1. Season high 11 runs for the Mets on Bud Collins' 92nd birthday.
Exactly
Terry's
right.
dad.
That'll make everybody smile over there. Kind of a patchwork lineup today due to injuries and resting guys. Day game after a night game, as that was popped foul.
The 0-2 to Tolley, reaches out, and it's just foul.
He's just up there surviving, and he almost survived with a 2-run double there. Just inches foul down the left field line.
Four Mets have at least 2 hits today. Mets have 4 extra base hits, no home runs, yet they have scored 11. Wow. Carlos Beltran with a triple. Lucas Duda with 3 doubles. Oh, that pitch gets away from Kirkman. Pagan scores the Mets' 12th run.
Man, it is just coming apart at the seams here in Arlington, Texas for the home Rangers. This one right at the noggin of Tolley. Not really looking for that. And it gets back to the box and almost near collision at the plate as well.
Six runs in the 6th inning for the Mets. Still nobody out. And Tolley skies this one to deep right center. On the run is Gentry. It's off the wall. Duda will score. The Mets' 7th run in the inning, and they now lead 13-2. A double off the wall in right center for Josh Tolley, his 2nd hit of the game.
Just a fastball. And Tolley goes down and smashes. Another just miss of a home run right at the 407 sign. Man, right now these New York Mets are saying let's eat.
Seven runs, 7 hits for the Mets here in the 6th. And still nobody out. Jason Pridey, the 9th Met to bat here in the 6th inning. Yoshinori Tateyama up in the Texas pen. Kirkman, the Rangers' 3rd pitcher of this game. Starter Ogando pulled after 3 innings. He allowed 6 runs, 3 earned on 8 hits. Dave Bush pitched 2+ innings, and now it's Kirkman, who has not retired a batter. On the ground to the second baseman, Kinsler. So the Rangers finally recorded out after the first 8 Mets reached here in the 6th.
Large crowd here with the loud ovation after Ian Kinsler gets that elusive first out of the top of the 6th. 7 runs across the board here in this inning before the first out was made.
Wow. 7 runs on 7 hits for the Mets in the inning. Still only 1 out. Tolley now at third, and here's Ruben Tejada, who got things started with a base hit to right center. Leading off this inning for the Mets. "13 runs on 16 hits. And we are still at the top of the 6th inning with only 1 out. Left field, David Murphy. Tolley will tag. Tolley scores. So a sacrifice fly, RBI number 13 for Tejada. The Mets with 8 runs in the inning. They now lead 14-2.
They're just kind of making it look easy today, are these New York Mets. Just doing the big things, the little things. No home runs. Texas has out-homered them 2-0.
Mets in their last 32 games have only gone deep 10 times. So here's Reyes. Think back to his bunt single. He was the second batter in this half inning and picked up his second hit of the game. 2 outs, and now Reyes rounds out to the shortstop Blanco. The inning finally comes to an end. Mets send 11 men to the plate, and they score 8 on a hot day in Arlington. Sprint all together now. New York Mets with a makeshift lineup today lead the Texas Rangers 14-2 as Adrian Beltre leads off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 6th inning against Jonathan Neese. Mark pitching with a 12-run lead.
That's a pretty comfortable feeling, I would imagine.
You think?
knowing that I can just go out there and have a very stress-free time on the pitcher's mound.
Beltre, a solo home run, his last time up. Beltre, Young, and Cruz for the Rangers here in the 6th. Texas won last night's game 8-1. They trail today 14-2.
Oh man, that's officially getting locked up by a breaking ball right there. My goodness.
Strikeout number 7 for Jonathan Neese. Neese's season and career high 8 strikeouts in one game. So he's one shy of matching that. Here's Michael Young, who homered in the 4th as Beltre and Young went back-to-back. Young has many home runs his last 4 games as his first 72. Neese missing away 2-0. Now Neese will go for a stroll.
For some reason. Probably starting to get a little warm out there on the mound.
I talked to him yesterday. He said the Heat, at least yesterday afternoon prior to the series opener, did not feel as bad as Neese expected it to. He's never pitched a game here in Arlington, grew up in Ohio. Now 94 degrees as Young rounds out to the second baseman Tejada for out number 2. Once again, Mets third base coach Chip Hale is wearing a microphone for us. Let's listen back during the last half inning.
Tag up, tag up. Go, go, go! Stay here, Len! Stay here, stay here! You stay here! Make sure you watch him, right? Good job. You knew it was going to land. He did.
You got to score on that.
Well, he does. The thing is, there's nobody out, right? If he makes a diving catch, right? That's all.
So again, our thanks to Chip Hale. And now some concern as Terry Collins heads out to the mound to check on Jonathan Neese.
Well, we saw Jonathan Neese take a walk behind the mound to gather himself. Kind of makes me wonder if he's just not feeling well.
Terry Collins was joined on the mound by Mets head trainer Ray Ramirez. Bobby Parnell is up in the Mets pen. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. Here's Nelson Cruz.
Still plenty of velocity on his fastball.
Remember that key at bat back in the 2nd inning, 3-0 game when Cruz took ball 4, but nobody aside from us and our crew knew it. And he wound up striking out.
That ended up being, at the time, a big play in this ball game.
And we played every pitch of that at bat back for the viewers. And no doubt about it.
There was, it was 4 wide ones, but nobody knew it on the Rangers side of the field, and none of the umpires realized it.
So that at bat pretty much epitomizes how things have gone all day long for the Texas Rangers.
Exactly right.
Well, the Mets in the top of the 6th with new season highs for runs and hits in an inning. They sent 11 men to the plate. They fell 3 shy of their club record of 11 runs in one inning set back in July of 2006 in Chicago. Cruz, left field. And a diving attempt by Priddy. It rolls to the wall. So Nelson Cruz with a 2-out double. 6th hit of the game for the Texas Rangers.
We love to see the effort like that. In a 14-2 ball game, you're still getting the effort from Jason Priddy. I'll tell you what, though, John Neese appreciates that effort from his young left fielder. And that's going to be all for John Neese. Jerry Collins on his way to the mound to go get him. Just looks like he might not be feeling well.
So Neese will leave with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning.
I don't think
And
Neese
the Mets
wants
leading.
to leave.
Nope, Mets leading 14-2. As Bobby Parnell will come out of the Mets pen. Parnell out of the Mets pen with the Mets leading the Rangers 14-2.
Hard throwing right-hander.
Nelson Cruz a 2-out double. Yorvit Torrealba at the plate. Torrealba 1 for 2, double back in the 4th inning. Mets scored 3 in the 1st, 3 in the 3rd, 8 in the top of the 6th inning. Rangers scoring both of their runs in the 4th on back-to-back home runs by Adrian Beltre and Michael Young as Torrealba fouls it off to the right side, now 1-1. Another foul. 1 ball, 2 strike count on the Rangers catcher, Yorvit Torrealba, batting just .158 with runners in scoring position this season.
Yikes.
Rangers as a team, .262.
That's pretty good.
Texas first place in the American League West, 2.5 game lead on Seattle. But they trail this game 14-2. The right fielder Beltran moving to his right. So Parnell records the 3rd out in the bottom of the 6th. We move to the 7th. A 12-run lead for the Mets. Fueled by Sprint. We come to you from Arlington, Texas. Kenny Albert, Mark Grace, and our entire Fox crew. There's Michael Kirkman, third pitcher of the game for the Texas Rangers, who trailed the New York Mets 14-2 as Willie Harris swings at the first pitch, and Michael Young takes it to the bag for out number one.
This sometimes gets to the point in a ball game where you start swinging early in the count. You start thinking maybe about dinner reservations.
So where are you going tonight?
I'm not sure. It's not that point of the game yet for me.
Now time for you to start thinking about it?
Yeah, I think it is about that time.
I see you have some snacks in front of you.
Well, and the wind blew them away.
You know, it took the Rangers 9 batters before they retired the first Met in the last half inning. Here in the 7th, one pitch.
One pitch is all it takes.
Mets with just 1 run in last night's game on 8 hits.
They played a near perfect baseball game here today.
Beltran deep left field. Murphy back on the track in the corner. And it is just foul.
A towering fly ball, just foul. It had home run distance.
Beltran with 3 hits today has driven in 3 runs. Mets lead by 12, much to the chagrin of Rangers president Nolan Ryan, taking in the action here today.
Probably not liking what he's seeing today from the pitching staff of the Texas Rangers.
Nolan Ryan made his major league debut at the age of 19 for the New York Mets back in 1966. Mets traded Ryan to the Angels in December of '71. He was a member of that 1969 Mets championship squad.
You just don't see that anymore. 19-year-olds making their debut on the pitcher's mound.
His wife Ruth organized a reunion this weekend here in Arlington as we check out Ryan's numbers with the Mets. He won 29 games. Mets won the World Series back in '69. His wife organized a reunion of the wives from the 1969 Mets, and many of them attended the game here last night.
That's neat. 42 years ago. He still looks like he could go out and throw 95 miles an hour and no hit you.
Beltran strikes out for out number 2. Time for another DirecTV game break. Indians and Giants in San Francisco as Matt Cain strikes out Jack Hanahan in the top of the 7th. Then at the bottom of the 7th inning with 2 outs, Tony Sipp on the mound. Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire, signals balk. Manny Burris scores the first run of the game and the only run for the San Francisco Giants.
If you're going to balk in a run, it's probably going to be called by Bob Davidson.
That was not the first balk that Bob Davidson has called during his long career.
Affectionately known as balking Bob Davidson.
How about the Mets a week ago Thursday suffered a walk-off loss in Atlanta on a balk.
On a balk.
I guess that could be referred to as a balk-off.
A balk-off.
And then a week later, a walk-off win against Oakland with the bases loaded. Justin Turner was hit by a pitch.
Hit by a pitch. Hit by a breaking ball, just grazed, but that's enough.
So how bizarre during an 8-day stretch, a walk-off loss on a balk and a walk-off win thanks to a hit batsman.
Yeah, and the one we just saw during the game break, boy, that's the only run you give up is that, and you end up and it costs you the ball game. Well, that's got to make your food taste bad after the game.
2-2 to Murphy. Reaches out. Left fielder David Murphy moving to his right. So for the third time in this game, Daniel Murphy flies out to David Murphy. No relation. TV. Don't just watch TV. Direct TV. And by Burger King, now offering $1 frozen drinks. Bottom of the 7th inning at Arlington. Nolan Ryan, Rangers president, on the right. Rangers radio broadcaster Steve Busby on the left. They were the starting pitchers back on April 6, 1973, Mark, when Jack McKeon managed his first Major League game.
No kidding. Jack McKeon still at it, and those guys still doing it as well. Well, Steve Busby was a good one until he got injured.
Busby pitched for Jack McKeon in that game for the Kansas City Royals. Ryan, of course, with the California Angels. The starting pitchers, April 6, 1973, when Jack McKeon made his Major League debut as a manager, as Murphy fouls it back. It was the second season in Arlington for the Rangers. Of course, they had nothing to do with that game. There were no active Marlins born yet. The designated hitter made its debut that same day. Ron Blumberg of the Yankees, the first ever DH, as Murphy singles past the diving Tejada into right center. And one more connection to our game today. Mike DeMuro is our home plate umpire.
Right.
His father, Lou, was the first base umpire in that game in Jack McKeon's debut with Nolan Ryan and Steve Busby on the mound. How about that?
Talk about a small world.
There were 5 players who played in that game who went on to become Major League managers. Frank Robinson, Bobby Valentine, Lou Piniella, Hal McRae, and Cookie Rojas. And now Trader Jack is back as the skipper of the Marlins at the age of 80, as Murphy takes second base uncontested. No stolen base for Murphy. Takes second due to indifference on the part of the Mets, who lead by 12.
What do you think of that rule, defensive indifference? I don't like it.
It's always a challenge to figure out how to mark it down on the scorecard.
Well, because that was driven to left field.
Just foul off the bat of Blanco.
But, okay. So the official scorer is saying, well, It's just indifferent. The Mets are being indifferent. They don't care. Well, if he comes around and scores, that's an earned run. You think Bobby Parnell doesn't care?
I agree.
That's why I have a problem. That's where I have a problem with that. Just thank you for letting me vent.
I'm with you. Parnell missing away, 3-1 to Blanco. Parnell on in relief of Met starter Jonathan Neese, who went 5 2/3. Bounced away from Duda, but Parnell over to cover. So good recovery by Lucas Duda as Murphy moves to third.
Nice job of staying with it, not panicking, and making a good toss over there to Parnell to get the out. As a first baseman, you don't have to come up with it cleanly. You just knock it down, keep it in front of you, and you can get the out. You don't have that luxury at third base or at shortstop, but you do it first.
So with one away and a runner on third, here's Ian Kinsler, who has reached base all 3 times today. The first inning single, and he's walked twice. Swings at the first pitch from Parnell, 0-1. Series finale tomorrow. Mets will send 7-game winner Dylan G to the mound against Derek Holland. Mets and Yankees on Fox Saturday Baseball next week. One to Kinsler. Now 2-1. Dylan G returning home. Grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. In fact, he attended Nolan Ryan's 7th no-hitter as a 5-year-old. In fact, he met Nolan for the first time yesterday. Nolan Ryan autographed a ball for Dylan G. As Kinsler fouls out to the first baseman Duda, and G will go for win number 8 against his hometown Rangers tomorrow afternoon.
That's a cool story. He's been such a pleasant surprise for these New York Mets. He may just find himself pitching in the Midsummer Classic out in Phoenix.
Leads the Mets staff with 7 wins. Barring a miracle comeback, Jonathan Neese will match G's 7 wins here today. Here's Craig Gentry, who is 0 for 3. Bottom of the 7th inning in Arlington, Texas. Mets lead the Rangers 14-2.
A good slider there from Parnell.
So 0-2 on Gentry. Murphy the runner on third. Josh Hamilton waiting on deck should Gentry reach. Hamilton has had an afternoon to forget. 0 for 3. 3 strikeouts.
Yet to put a ball in play.
Gentry fouls it off to the right side. Josh Hamilton last night hit his 100th career home run. His 7th this season as the Rangers beat the Mets 8-1. Quite the turnaround in game number 2 of this Interleague series. Off the fists, fouled back. Count remains 0-2 on Gentry. Mets breaking the game open with 8 runs in the 6th inning. 1-2 from Parnell. Fastball missing high. Now 2-2.
Well, Parnell got to 97 miles an hour with that fastball.
Up the middle, off the mound. Here's Tejada. And the throw is not in time. Murphy scores. The Mets lead is now 14-3.
The great speed of Gentry. He easily beats it. And yes, that is an earned run now for Parnell on the defensive indifference. Trust me, it ain't indifferent to him.
And we talked about Gentry's speed earlier. He easily beat the throw from Tejada. So here's Josh Hamilton. 3 strikeouts today, and he takes strike 1.
There's strikeout number 1. Here's number 2, and the bat goes flying. And number 3, all on pitches up and out of the zone.
All against the left-hander Nice, now facing the right-hander Bobby Parnell, and he falls behind 0-2. Josh Hamilton has struck out 4 times in a game, 4 times in his career. He's 1 strike away. Gets the bat on it, foul back to the screen. Last year's American League Most Valuable Player. Came into this game 7 for his last 16. The all-time leader in batting average during interleague play at .378. He's faced 15 pitches today, 13 strikes.
Just missed on the 0-2.
Now the 1-2 from Parnell, and Hamilton strikes out for the 4th time today to end the inning. Rangers score a run through 7. It's the Mets 14, the Rangers 3. during the Baseball All-Star Game Tuesday, July 12th. Angel Pagan, first pitch here in the top of the 8th inning. And a running catch is made by Gentry. What a play.
What a great play. Out of nowhere. Well, you love to see an effort like that. You're down 14-3. This young man, don't tell him that.
We've been talking about his speed, a track star in high school in Arkansas.
Oh, that was a great play.
He could even beat Mark Grace in a race.
Yes, he could. Yes. I think I told a lot of people if I raced a pregnant lady, I'd come in third.
How's your namesake doing out in Arizona?
Oh, you mean the guy that runs? The
guy that attempts to run.
The character that runs?
During Diamondback games.
Yeah, he's still winless. He's 0 for 2 years.
Wow.
It's
a race that takes place
terrible.
Once per home game?
Once per home game.
I knew at one point earlier this season he was, 0-55?
Yeah. A nice play again, this time by Adrian Beltre. Yeah, a likeness of myself, Randy Johnson, Matt Williams, and Luis Gonzalez run for an inning. Here's a nice leaping catch here by Beltre.
So Lucas Duda retired for the first time. He was 4 for 4 and has driven in 4 runs.
He almost got a 5-hit game. Those are rare. But anyway, my guy never wins, and it's embarrassing. My kids are mad at me.
You have to send him for some lessons with Craig Gentry.
No doubt. Boy, he just covered so much ground. Just a gorgeous play. Love seeing that kind of hustle in a game like this.
Josh Tolley with 2 hits today, drove in a run back in the 3rd inning. Mets scored 3 in the 1st, 3 in the 3rd, 8 runs in the 6th inning. Mets sent 11 men to the plate in the 6th. But since then, retired in order in the 7th. 2 up, 2 down. For Terry Collins, Mets here in the 8th.
Right to the outside corner. Kirkman goes again. 2-2. I like to see that. That's today's starter, Alexi Ogando. He's still out there. He hadn't hit the showers yet. He's still out there pulling for his teammates, being interested.
This will be his 3rd consecutive loss after he started the season 7-0. Tolley pops out to Beltre, middle of the 8th at Arlington. and by Viagra. New York Mets lead the Texas Rangers 14-3. We move to the bottom of the 8th inning at Arlington. Mets with 14 runs on 16 hits today, both season highs. First time since '99. 8 straight base runners reached to start an inning. And the top 3 in the Mets order, 7 for 15 with 4 runs batted in mark and 7 runs scored.
Yeah, it has been a day at the beach here for the New York Mets.
34-year-old right-hander DJ Carrasco, the third Mets pitcher, facing Adrian Beltre, who's 1 for 3 solo home run back in the 4th inning. Beltre and Young with back-to-back home runs in the 4th, accounting for the first 2 Texas runs. Josh Hamilton today 0 for 4, 4 strikeouts. Texas starter Alexei Ogando knocked out after 3 innings. Mets starter Jonathan Neese in line for his 7th win of the season, as Beltre lines out to Pridey in left. Time now for our Just for Men Keep Your Edge spotlight. Mets with 8 runs on 7 hits in the 6th inning. The first 8 Mets reach base in the 6th. Just as this Mets lineup has given them the edge today, you too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. Season high in runs and hits after losing 8-1 last night.
It has been all smiles and a lot of fun in the New York dugout here this afternoon. You don't get many games like this against World Series teams.
And a team in the Texas Rangers that has spent more days in first place over the last 2 seasons combined than any other team in baseball. First place the last 40 days, either by themselves or they have shared first place for 40 straight days. Michael Young with his 3rd hit of the game.
He just keeps hitting, doesn't he?
A single, a home run, and now a Michael Young, who a couple of weeks ago set the franchise record for most career games played as a member of the Texas Rangers. A 6-time All-Star. 2 game-winning hits at All-Star games for Michael Young.
How about that? He likes the spotlight.
Here's Nelson Cruz, first pitch from Carrasco. Cruz with the Rangers' 3rd home run of the game. A 2-run shot, his team leading 18th of the season.
Tough thing about pitching in games like this, a lot of times you just don't want to walk people, so you start throwing balls in the middle of the plate. Well, Nelson Cruz does this to a lot of pitches in the middle of the plate. Hit them a long, long ways.
So the Rangers have out-homered the Mets 3-0, yet they trail by 9 runs.
Yet they're getting stomped.
Here's Torey Alba. Texas this season 12-0 when they hit at least 3 home runs. I think
that's probably
today they will suffer their first loss when hitting 3. Yes.
Yeah. Although there's still 5 outs to get for Carrasco and or the Mets.
Mets pitching coach Dan Worthen on the phone. On the ground to the second baseman, Tejada. Now they have to get only 4.
That's exactly right.
So now David Murphy who ended an 0 for 10 stretch with a single back in the 7th inning, came around to score the Rangers' 3rd run. Bottom of the 8th inning at Arlington, Texas. Mets lead the Rangers 14-5 as Pagan makes the catch to retire Murphy and retire the Rangers, who scored 2 in the 8th on the Cruz home run. It's 10 hits, 1 error for the Rangers. Top of the 9th inning with Jason Pridey leading off against Michael Kirkman. Reminder, the 4 greatest moments in MLB All-Star Game history are going head-to-head to determine which is the most memorable of all time. Go to MLB.com/moments to fill out your bracket for your favorite midsummer classics, and tune in to the 2011 Major League Baseball All-Star Game Tuesday, July 12th, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox to find out who won.
I don't think you ever told us your moment, your favorite moment.
Well, I think as far as historically, the Carl Hubbell striking out 5
that's true.
consecutive future Hall of Famers in 1934. From a personal standpoint, I attended as a youngster the 1977 All-Star Game at Yankee Stadium. And if you think it was hot and humid here today, I was there with my grandfather. It was about 105 at midnight when we left the stadium. 2-1 to Jason Pridey, right field. Nelson Cruz under it, 1 away. Time now for another DirecTV game break. White Sox and the Nationals. Top of the 6th inning. White Sox leading 1-0. Jake Peavy making his first career relief appearance. He strikes out Ryan Zimmerman. 4 innings. Peavy allowed only 1 hit in relief, struck out 7. And then in the 8th, with the bases loaded, the former Met Ramon Castro with a 2-run single. White Sox over the Nationals 3-0. Peavy picks up the win out of the bullpen. John Danks left due to a strained quad. So the White Sox over the Nationals, who are expected to name Davey Johnson as their new manager. And as we spoke about earlier, Davey Johnson, of course, won a World Series 25 years ago as manager of the 1986 New York Mets.
And his last managing job was in Los Angeles in the year 2000.
And historically, Mark, only 4 managers have won a World Series and then still managed at least 25 years later. Check out this list. Connie Mack, John McGraw, Bucky Harris, and Rogers Hornsby, the only 4 managers in history to win a World Series and still manage a Major League Ball club at least 25 years later.
That's how long ago something like that happened.
Hasn't happened since the 50s. Incredible. Jack McKeon back.
Jack McKeon at 80
at the
years.
age of 80. As Jason Isringhausen in the Mets pen. McKeon led the Marlins to the 2003 World Series title at the age of 73. After he took over for Jeff Torborg in May of that season. Tejada with a base hit into center field. 17th hit of the game for the Mets. Second for Tejada.
And Jose Reyes going to get his 5th attempt here in the 9th inning. I'm sorry, his 6th attempt.
Hard to keep track in a game like this.
When you're getting 6 at-bats in a game, you're usually ahead, and ahead comfortably.
6 at-bats in a 9-inning game. Reyes with 2 hits. He has scored 2 runs. I mentioned earlier he made his Major League debut in this ballpark back in June of 2003. Had 2 hits in that game from the number 9 spot in the order. And today, his 998th Major League game.
He's been around that long now. My goodness. He's been a staple at shortstop over in Flushing.
The 0-2 to Reyes. Kirkman tried to barehand it. Stepping on second is Kinsler. So now 2 outs in the inning. And Reyes on at first. We take you back to June 10th, 2003. Interleague play, Mets and Rangers here in Arlington as Jose Reyes got set to make his Major League debut. Batting 9th, playing shortstop. 2 hits in the game. He went 2 for 4 with a double. He scored 2 runs. And he was asked recently what he remembered most about that day. Alex Rodriguez wishing him luck. A-Rod, then a member of the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, a great Ranger. And he hadn't looked back on Jose Reyes. He's had a stellar career, and there's still a lot of games left in him.
And Met fans certainly hope that those games are played while wearing a Mets uniform.
Yeah, there's a lot of... Saw some shirts down here last night, and you see him today. Don't trade Jose.
The 0-2, and Harris strikes out, so we head to the bottom of the 9th here in Arlington with the Mets leading by 9. Out for the Mets tonight on Fox. Strap in and brace yourself for 2 full hours of Cops. With 23 seasons and over 800 episodes, no other show takes it to the street like Cops. Catch 2 full hours starting at 8, 7 Central tonight on Fox. Andres Blanco will lead off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the ninth. Mark, the report on Jonathan Neese. He was removed after 5 2/3 for precautionary reasons. The Mets starting pitcher due to a rapid heartbeat.
Oh, man. Well, it was certainly the right thing to do then for Terry Collins to remove his starter who was throwing the ball beautifully. And he just hoping, wish for the best for him.
Pitching in the heat here in Arlington as Blanco leads off the bottom of the ninth with a base hit into center field. His first hit today. So now the top of the order, Ian Kinsler, who is 1 for 2. He's walked twice. Mark, while we have a moment, we would like to send our condolences from the entire Fox Sports family to the families of both Rod Beaton and Nick Charles, who both passed away over the last couple of days.
2 great ones.
Rod Beaton, the longtime baseball writer and columnist for USA Today. There's Tim Burdock up in the Mets pen, and Nick Charles, of course, the longtime CNN sports anchor. So our condolences go out to the families of both Rod Beaton and Nick Charles. 0-2 on Ian Kinsler. Blanco the runner on first. Murphy to second for 1. On to first, double play. The Mets turn the 5-4-3. So Texas now down to their final out as we take one more look.
You can't dial it up any better than that. Beautifully turned by Daniel Murphy and Ruben Tejada.
Great job by our entire crew today here in Arlington. Our producer Pete Macheska, director Bill Webb, associate director Aaron Stoikov, broadcast associate Eric Mandia, our technical director Jonathan Evans. Pre-game show produced by Don Bowie, Marty Aronoff, and Wayne Fiddleman crunching the numbers. Craig Gentry, 1 for 4, pops it up. Tejada is under it, and the New York Mets, after losing last night's game 8-1, come back and defeat the Texas Rangers in the second game of this interleague series by the score of 14-5. Mark and I will return to Arlington to wrap things up right after these messages from your local Fox station.